Hey guys, welcome back. Another very important video today. Banish the doubt, letting go of fear-based beliefs. Beliefs. This is our subconscious mind. These are just some of the influences going through our conscious mind, which is only 10% of our mind, into our subconscious. Media, the news, social media, Facebook, TikTok, all that other stuff, right? Church or synagogues, religion, organized religions, the government, politics, school. If you're in school, you're a teacher. You're obviously, if you're a student, college, parents, society, societal norms. All of this influence 24/7, 24/7, because the media today and social media is 24/7. Okay. This thing 24/7. Conscious mind makes up 10%. The Garden of Eden is what the Bible referred to when they're talking about our subconscious mind. We want to be able to unlock the subconscious mind and renew it. Watching this video, watching videos like this, we are renewing our subconscious mind. Okay, we're starting to look at this and say, wait a minute, something's not right here. Because for 35 years, I listened to all this, okay? All this on the outside, went into my conscious mind. When I was a child, I was an infant. I was 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. It's why the Jesuit faith says to its followers, which is now over 500 years, give me an infant from birth until age 7. Okay, so from birth to age 7, and I'll give you the adult. Now, why is it they say that? Because for 7 years, they've got all this programming. It's not the government, it's not church, it's not social media, but it's the people, the parents, and those around them that are consuming all this. And their beliefs are being set up with this. So they're downloading all that information into the 7-year-old's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old child's subconscious mind. I'm going to give you an example. And there's many, but I'll just give you one. So recently, I was at last year I was at a baseball game, my son's baseball game. He's pitching. And this young boy is at plate. They're 11 years old, whatever, 12 years old. And my son pitches, and the boy swings and misses. Now, the young boy at the plate swung and missed the ball. My son had recruited him to play that year. Never played baseball before. From the stands, I'm hearing this. Are you kidding me? What is this kid swinging at? Boy or dude, whatever? What are you doing? What are you swinging at, Mom? The parent. Okay, I don't care what that right there. That crap is going into this young boy's conscious mind. It's being stuffed in here in his subconscious. The fear-based beliefs. I'm not good enough. It can't not happen. It can't not. Because that person is dealing with this themselves. They're just transferring, they're taking another brick out of their bag and saying, here, I'm putting in your bag. You carry that crap around. Unconsciously. She would never do it consciously. Unconsciously, the fear, the anger, the comparison, the comparing themselves to others are not good enough. And I'm sure if you would take that back, her parents and her parents' parents, that's where it came from. Another example, a young lady who is around in her neighborhood, and she's a mother, she's a wife, and she's a mother. The husband is out, and another young lady comes around, and the husband and her were classmates. But he's, I really can't talk to you, because the lady, the wife, is jealous. They're married, but she's not happy. She's not, see, the conscious mind downloaded crap into her mind, fear-based beliefs. I can go on and on and on. You are probably thinking of something very similar just watching this video. But do you see this? Can you see the sadness in this? It's not necessary because this is how we are programmed. Okay, we are programmed. We program beliefs and behaviors. By age 35, you've heard me say this in other videos, and if I know if you have, I'm going to say it again because I'm going to keep repeating it. By age 35, we are a memorized set of emotional reactions. Those not emotional reactions, hardwired into our brain, hardwired beliefs, perceptions, and attitudes. Hardwired. The conscious mind now has become the master. It's only 10% of our mind, but it's now the master. It tells the subconscious, this is what you're going to believe, and this is what you're going to recycle constantly around and over and over. And 90% of our brain is subconscious. 90% of our thoughts are the same as the day before. Think about this. It's now late afternoon here. Okay, if you're whatever time of the day you're watching this, just think, you woke up on the same side of the bed as you normally did, right? You probably did the same things. You went to the bathroom, you got yourself a cup of coffee, right? Favorite mug. You ate breakfast, about roughly the same breakfast you should have, if you even had breakfast. You went to your job, you took the same route to your job, right? Saw the same people, they pushed the same emotional buttons, right? You checked almost exactly the same time your Facebook, and you took some selfies, whatever it may be. You may have looked at some other people's and you're comparing yourself to them. Comparison is the thief of joy. And then you come home from work, you have dinner, you talk to the kids, whatever. You watch more social media, you watch your favorite show on TV, you go to bed. Tomorrow, same thing. The thoughts, the same thing, but yet we're also wondering, well, why aren't things changing? So we want to, because it's fear. Okay, like I said, fear-based beliefs and emotions. Your experience in life is exactly what you are convinced of. So your life, whatever you're seeing each day in your life, you're convinced this is it. This is it. It can't be any more. It can't be anything else than this. This is my life. And if you're watching this, are you going to implement anything? Or are you going to start to change things? Or are you just going to live comfortably uncomfortable? You see, because when you no longer feel this way, you no longer feel like you want to live this type of a life. You no longer want to carry somebody else's baggage, your parents, society, your friends, right? Relatives, church, organized religion, the crap from the politics. You no longer want to carry this because it gets heavy, right? I mean, it's a burden. It feels like a burden. You don't want to, so your bag is empty. You have absolutely nothing in your bag if you believe it. You're going to stay in your job that you don't like, right? I don't know how many times you hear about people in corporate jobs or any jobs, and they're like, you're burnt out. You're fried. But yet you stay at the job. You stay in a relationship that you know has been over for 10 years, but you're still in it. We do these things because we have given up on a certain level, but we don't have to. We can reclaim that power that's in us. We can reclaim, and we can start to nurture that inner child, that one that says, yes, I know this is whatever it is that is for you that I want to do. You're watching this right now. Maybe there's that book that you want to write that you've been putting off. Maybe there's that career, that entrepreneurial career that you've been putting off, but you know that that's what's inside of you, that burns inside of you. And you're afraid that it's not going to work out, or you don't have the money, or whatever it may be. You're watching this, and your dream is to really be on stage, or an actress or an actor or a singer, but you're afraid. You just don't, all the odds are stacked against us, whatever it may be. There's a certain person you want to ask out, you want to be with, and you just have a feeling. You just know it. There's that little voice inside. It ends now, okay? You want to get away from the people who pull you down, the people that push those buttons at your job or wherever it may be in school. You want to get away from them, but maybe you feel guilty, okay? You want to stop consuming low energy, what I was talking about, the media, politics, music, any music, that's really a lot of foul, like that real, the kind of language or whatever, that messaging that it sends out that's just negative. You want to get away from that. Your baggage has nothing in it. Okay? There's nothing in your bag. Over 3,000 years ago, guys, over 3,000 years ago, Buddha said this: those who live long near the toilet, okay, the stinking toilet, the stinking life that we have, forget how foul the smell is, because you've been at it so long, you've been right next to it so long, we forget it, right? Now, earlier today in New Jersey, here in this metro area, we had an earthquake. It was a minor earthquake. But people thought, oh, I thought it was the train going by. Why? Well, because our house was next to the train. They lived next to a train track. Nothing wrong with that, but if that's what you've aspired to be, to live your house next to a train track. The other thing is that all of a sudden people started to obsess about it. Why? Because there's an underlying base of fear. Okay, it was an earthquake, it came and went, nothing happened. I look around, I was standing inside my house, everything's fine. I thought it was like a fighter jet or something, military jets going across the sky. What I'm saying is, suddenly the media got a hold of it, right? And now they've been talking nonstop about it. I mean, they're recycling to say, oh, let's go to correspondent Bob. Okay, Bob, yeah, I'm standing with a bunch of people, and we asked them questions like, well, where were you? I was standing over there. Well, how did you feel? I was scary. Oh, okay. And what about you? And yeah, it was okay. Oh, how about you? Let's go over. Oh, correspondent Judy. Let's go to Judy. Okay, I have a few other people here. What happened to you? And I'm not trying to minimize it and saying that it's not serious. Of course, the earthquake is serious. But what the point I'm trying to get across is the obsession of it. Because it comes from a base of fear of things are not right. Everything is fine. Everything is absolutely fine. In your world, in my world, everything is fine. Nothing ever goes wrong in my world. This is the type of thinking we want to start to implement, okay? Finally, though, through mind change, you have begun to notice just how foul smelling the air is near the toilet you've been living near for so long. When you start to change the way you're thinking, okay, when you start to become more introspective, more living in the moment, you start to understand, wow, yeah, things really are. I mean, they're not maybe horrible. And if you are in a very bad relationship, if it's something where there is domestic abuse, what have you, obviously get help for that. But I'm talking about the ones where the job that you're at, it's burning you up. You're reacting towards your family, but you stay in it because you're afraid to leave and maybe can't find another job. Fear-based beliefs. When we start to notice what our thoughts are in the moment, that's when we start to say, okay, I didn't realize things were like this. I'm going to change. I'm changing in the moment. I'm not waiting for anything else out there to change. Okay, I'm changing. I'm taking stock of who I am. When you start to understand that the beliefs that you have are the definition of them, or the wrong type of beliefs, you no longer believe them, they go away. We start to change the way we're thinking. We start to get around and read books such as Feeling is a Secret by Neville Goddard. We start to read books like As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Okay. And just here, I just opened up to page 19. Man's mind may be likened to a garden. Now, this was written back in 1903. So when I say man, a person's mind may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. So it doesn't matter what you're thinking, you're going to bring that forth. If you're watching this and you're thinking, this is great information, I want to keep getting more of it, great. You're going to start to bring those types of feelings and those types of thoughts forward. You're going to bring these types of thoughts into your mind. You're thinking, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And I've seen so many of these things never work. Doesn't matter. You're going to bring it forth. If no useful seeds are put into it, okay? So what do we talk about here, right? I'm not going back too far. How about from the bystander of your life to the architect of your destiny? The person who acts like they are a millionaire, a leader, a pioneer is the person who opens the doors to becoming one. So where, okay? Useful seeds, a mindset that doesn't work, a mindset that does not walk a straight line, but rather a winding road full of learning experiences. It's how we look at this. Okay. So these are the types of thoughts that we bring in. So James Allen says, an abundance of useful weed seeds, if we don't put the right thoughts in, will fall therein. It will continue to produce their kind. Just as a gardener cultivates his plot, so cultivating our plot, being mindful of what type of seeds are going into the ground, what are we thinking about in the moment, keeping it free from weeds and growing the flowers and fruits which they require, so may a person tend the garden of their mind, weeding out all the wrong, useless thoughts or seeds, and cultivating towards perfection the flowers and fruits of right, useful, and pure thoughts. By pursuing this process, a person sooner or later discovers that he or she is the master gardener of their soul and the director of their life. This is how we start to change and do away with and get away from fear-based beliefs, because the government, society wants us, they need us to be fearful, okay? They need us to feel like this. Here's something else I want to kind of end with, guys. It comes down to abandonment issues. Why would I say abandonment? Because remember when we were young children, what? You get banished to the corner in the classroom. Okay, you were the dunce. I'm aging myself, but you went to time out. What? You were alone. So you have issues of you don't want to be left alone, abandoned. Okay, so or maybe you came through a relationship, an upbringing where there was divorce from mom and dad. They didn't get along with each other. You have abandonment issues. That little tight circle inside that you guys were part of, it fell apart or it broke apart. You have abandonment issues. You feel like you're alone. This is how we end up in codependent relationships, okay? Dysfunctional relationships. So we start changing the dialogue we have with ourselves. We start to learn that what's taking place on the outside is what I'm bringing to it. It's just reflecting back to me what my thoughts are every single moment. So we learn to become more introspective. We meditate. Very, very, very important to learn how to meditate, to be alone with your thoughts. Listen to your thoughts. Okay, pay attention. You don't have to judge them. Don't judge them, because everything in this world, guys, your world, my world, everything that happens in it is neutral until we judge it or we manipulate it with what? Our thoughts. What are our thoughts? Our beliefs. Some of our habitual beliefs, right? Traditions. I talked about it earlier today in the other video. We learn these, we get I'm talking about the subconscious mind, those types of thinking, because thoughts are put into our subconscious mind. Our last name, oh, that's a very powerful last name. You got to live up to that last name. Bullshit. You don't have to do that. You live up to who you are. And in who we are spiritual beings having this human existence. Okay? Who I am a spirit. I am part of that source energy, disguised as George McNamara, disguised as a husband, a father, a former real estate agent, a person who creates videos on YouTube. But who I am at my core as the spiritual being. Okay. And then, but I talk to myself in the way that everything works out for me. My life is always working out for me. I am confident. I am powerful. I am, and powerful not in an egotistical way, but I am power myself. Okay. I no longer have any fear-based beliefs. And if anything comes up like that, I understand it, and I change that type of thinking. This is the type of thought process that you want to start to implement. Okay. And then you start to go do away with all this here, other people's belief systems. We do away with those. We understand that that was just a part of our life that we needed to go through, to grow through, in order to get to where we're at now. And I don't care how old you are watching this. You could be 18 or 88. Age doesn't mean anything into this universe. Okay. So you learn how to we augment this. I heard today saying that people, were thinking about the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and this whole thing about the 10%, and the conscious mind is the master. And we operate on the 90%. So we start to learn, and there was a story that I'm kind of losing my facts on that story, but when I remember it, I'll share it with you in another video. But we learn how to do this. This is how we start to overcome, and we identify that we overcome these fear-based beliefs. We understand that the system that is this world, this globe, they want us to be fearful. Okay, they need you and I to walk around being fearful, being subservient. There is none of that. You are only responsible for yourself and those who you love, your children, husband or wife, in that orbit right there. That's it. There's nothing else or nobody else that you need to be accountable to or accountable for. Nobody. Once you start to get this, once this starts to become part of who you are, I'm promising you, your life is going to change. You're going to start noticing serendipity start taking place in your life. New people are going to start being attracted. You're going to attract them into your life because of who you are. This mirror reflecting back to us, this life that we looked at, that we didn't know until now, is a mirror reflecting back to us. You're going to start seeing things reflected back to you that have always been there. You just haven't seen them. Now that we're dropping this veil of fear-based beliefs, now that this is starting to drop, or starting to come, start to dissipate, we're now starting to see through it and starting to see the things that have always been there. Now we can see them better. Now we can start to bring it towards us. Your health is going to improve. Your relationships are going to improve. Everything in your life is going to start to improve. I promise you that. I thank you so much for watching these videos, for commenting on these videos. Feel free to comment down below. If you've gone through or going through anything that's challenging right now, and maybe this video has helped you in some way, feel free to share these videos with your friends and family and anybody else. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, and hit the notification bell so you get all of my videos. You can go to and see, once you do that, go back and look at all my videos and start to watch those. I appreciate you guys so much. And until I see you again, God bless and have a great afternoon.